A lot of you get into property investment because you've been sold this dream of being able to replace your income, all right, sack your boss, get out of the 9 to 5 and start living a life on your terms. But the reality is this: most property strategies do not allow for this. And in this video, I'm going to show you the ones that you need to bin and the one that you need to do. A lot of you get into property or want to get into property for one main reason, and that's financial independence. So that you can do more of what you like doing with the people that you love. You can free up your time, you can sack your boss, all right? And you can start to enjoy life and the future. But the big problem is this: most property strategies are not going to do that for you. All right, they're not going to do it because, number one, you're unlikely to have the time, because if you want to replace your income, if you're anything like me, I want to do it now, not in 25 years. The second thing is most property strategies need a decent amount of money, all right? So if you've not got a large sum of money, it's going to be hard for you to replace your income to the level that you need or scale beyond that. And the third biggest reason, all right, is that most of you will just not take the level of action that you need to. Now, there's so many different strategies, and on this video, I want to share with you ones that I don't think work, and then one that will definitely work. But disclaimer: if you want long-term legacy wealth, if you're sat there with 500 grand, if you're able to save 50 grand every year, this is not for you. I'm talking to the everyday person, all right, that might be earning 30 to 60 grand a year and wants to replace your income. I'm talking to you guys right now. This is factual. Maybe you've got 10, 20 grand in the bank. You've not got 500 grand to invest. You've not got a huge amount of time. So what can you do to replace your income? Let's get into it. The most common property investment, of course, is the grandfather buy-to-let. That's simply where you buy a property and you let it out. The issue is the startup costs here are really, really high, because you're going to need big deposits of maybe 50 or 100 grand, plus the works, plus you need to be mortgageable, plus it's going to take months for the purchase to go through, and it's very, very slow. But not only that, is buy-to-lets, especially now the interest rates are through the roof, might only make you a couple £100 per month. So think about it. If you're on 2 grand a month, which isn't high, you would need 10 buy-to-lets to replace your income. And how long would that take you? All right, so let's say, for example, 10 buy-to-lets, 50 grand a piece, you're gonna need £500,000, and that could take you 5 years to achieve. Way too slow. So what else is there? Option number 2 would be HMO or serviced accommodation. And the reason I'm looping them in together is because they're both high cash flowing property strategies. But assuming that you're buying the properties, it's still going to cost a lot of money. In fact, it's probably going to cost double what a traditional buy-to-let might cost, depending on where you are in the country, because you're going to need to do a higher end refurb, you're going to need to do compliance and stuff. And before you know it, you could be spending 100 grand for one of these to make £1 grand a month. Once again, you're going to need £1 million, you're going to need a long period of time, and it's not going to get you out of the 9 to 5 anytime soon. So, sorry, SA, HMO to buy, not going to work. Let's take one more property strategy, a low money down one. How about deal sourcing? So in deal sourcing, rather than you buying the property, what you do is you find an investor, you find a property, you introduce them and take a fee in between, maybe 3 to 5 grand. Sounds good, because you don't need no money. You could do this within a couple of weeks, but the problem is this: if you're looking to replace your income, you need consistent income. And deal sourcing is you work once, you get paid once. It's not recurring. So every month you're back to zero, and then you've got the stress and the pressure of having to source another deal. Otherwise, you can't pay your mortgage this month. So I'm really sorry, but deal sourcing, it's not going to work for you. So if you want to realistically replace your income, sack your boss so you stop fighting over scraps like the little guys, there's only one property strategy, cash flow strategy, that can be extremely fast and not take a huge amount of investment. And you know what that is. It's Rent to Rent 2.0. In other words, you're not buying the property, but you can still get all the benefits of owning the property through controlling the property. So the way it works is, rather than you buying the property, you persuade a landlord to essentially lease you the property for 5 years, you guarantee the rent, and then you can rent the property either on a room by room basis, HMO, or on a serviced accommodation basis, nightly, like Airbnb, and create massive cash flow. Now, each one of these could make upwards of £1,000 a month. So if you're trying to replace your income of 5 grand, that's epic, because you only need 5 properties. Let's say each costs you 6 grand. You're only going to need £30,000 to achieve that. And then if you've got 5 properties, that's 60 grand a year over 5 years. That's 300 grand. Sorry for all the figures, but there's only one strategy that's really going to achieve that. And I know that because that's exactly what I've done. And I've helped hundreds of other people do this too and replace their income in an actually realistic way. Okay, so forget about buy-to-let, forget about buying HMO and SA, forget about deal sourcing. If you want to replace your income with recurring cash flow, rent to rent is the one. And luckily for you, I am the king of rent to rent. So you're in the right place. So if you want to know more about how to get into it, there's over 300 free videos right here on my YouTube channel. You can check out more about what I do on simonsmithonline.com, and forget the other strategies. Start with rent to rent. In fact, I want to give you more value. I'm going to put a free setup guide below, okay, in the description, so that you can get set up right now, absolutely free, and start moving towards your own rent to rent empire. And the best thing about this is it's not only going to replace your income, but once you've achieved that, it's a fully scalable business. So my rent to rent business now does 7 figures of annual revenue. I've managed not only to replace my income, but my wives, my mums, my aunties, countless other people, and you can do the same too. So if that sounds good, hit the subscribe button, comment below with any questions you've got, and I'll see you in the next one.